I do want to revisit this Nicodemus Jesus born again thing. And I want to re-highlight what the process really entails. Like when we look at this, so often being born again is usually linked up with this event on a traditional church scene where the person is going down the aisle. They give their lives to Christ. They eventually get baptized. And upon baptism, they are said to be born again. But what it really means to be born again, a later translation says to be born from above, is to really be created into a new person with a new perspective, stepping into a new world. Because when you're born, you're entering into a new world through the darkness of your mother's womb into the new world. You're being pushed into a whole new environment. So to do that, Jesus is saying he had to be born from somewhere. So now he's speaking of what Nicodemus's existential metaphysical mother should be. So he's speaking of the womb that Nicodemus needs to incubate himself in, to gestate himself within, in order to come out a new perfected soul, a higher being, to go from just a teacher of religious law to a master. You know, Jesus was criticizing him, saying, you're a master of the laws and you don't know these basics. You're a master, one of the teachers of religious law, and you don't know these basics. This law about being born from above, Jesus considered this basic. It wasn't even a fascinating teaching to him. But being born from above, you only can come from what you are of. You can only come from what you are of. So if you're being born from above, then you're of above. Just like if you're from the world, you're of the world. If you're from this neighborhood, you're of that neighborhood. You know, to an extent. So he says to be born from above. He's going to be a representative of whatever this higher place is, this womb. Nicodemus is being invited to become a representative of it. And just like you have the 9 months of the baby before it's born, you have this 9 number being important too in the process of being born from above, what is called being born again. You got the 7 energy centers. Those are the chakras. So you're already being born through those. And then you have the 2 extra energy centers. We'll call those your horns. You get 2 horns. So that will total 9, right? And your horns is usually your authority, your basically, yeah, your symbol of authority, just like a crown. That's what horns are synonymous with. And horns are synonymous with announcement too. So your word is going out. You're putting out a decree just by virtue of the horns. But you have to be born from above in order to have all of this spiritual equipment activated, you understand? So what are we tackling then in a nutshell when we're talking about being born from above? Well, the of above landscape has this process where you're dealing with your energy centers in 3s. If you're being born from above, you can start from the crown. So crown, third eye, throat chakra, right? The information you take in, the information you process, and the information you speak. Those are 3. That's the first trimester. Second trimester, heart, solar plexus, and sacral. So that's another set of 3. So now you're dealing with your feelings, you're dealing with your intuition, and you're dealing with your need for physical connection. Second trimester. And then third trimester, you're dealing with the root chakra, which is your overall need to survive. And then you're dealing with your horns all over again. So you can start again at the head. And now you have your authority once all of the energy centers are conquered. Of course, there's other chakras, and that stands the reason for another video. But just being born above for the basics, just having the 9, the 7 energy centers, and the 2 horns being your crown. And you can also call that a higher form of hearing too, because you have 2 ears essentially. So that can be a higher form of hearing, representation of you being able to hear from above, that you have 2 horns that stretch out so that you can hear higher things and thereby extend your crown. Even on the left-hand path, they talk about being born of the crown. They call it the opening of the head. It's a form of trepanation. And we don't advertise any physical harm whatsoever. Just understand the symbology of it, that you're taking new information into your mind, and thereby you're increasing your capacity to be able to digest, relate information, understand it. That's all we're talking about. Just expanding your mind, freeing your mind, opening your mind, not literally hurting your physical head. No, opening your mind. But it's like cracking it open, because you're breaking out of a shell at the same time too, to be born into a new mindset. Everybody's mind can do this. It's just about you taking in this new information, because you're going to be born from that spot where you're taking the information, and then you're going to take it in through the body. This is the whole born from above process. So it's really a process that happens automatically, but you can control it, how it goes, and place your attention on it. Now you can catch the machinations of how it operates. Now it's just not going on default, where life doesn't have a rhyme or reason. When you start dealing with things like luck and chance and coincidence, all of these things are really illusory on higher levels, because everything coincides, and there's the little details that you catch that lead to things that may seem like a coincidence if ignored in earlier stages. So you want to catch your activities before they metastasize. You understand? And being sensitive and conquering these different energy centers, or different psyches of yourself, different parts of who we are, this helps you to recreate yourself as a new, stronger, more advanced being. You know, all of the movie special effects stuff, just apply it to that, because spiritually that's what's happening. You're becoming such a greater version of yourself, that you're really born from a higher place. But when you take all of these practical applications out of the way, you're waiting on a magical process that you're not taking any steps to implement. You're just waiting on an event to say that you're born from above and representing what will be called heaven's laws. But you can't really represent things that you don't know and are not proficient at. Because how could you be coming from that place? You could only at best be commenting of that place, speaking about that place, but not coming from that place. So how could you be born of and from that place, a place that you have never gone and a place that you never go? So that's what it means to be born from above. And this is why that conversation took place late night between Jesus and Nicodemus in the scriptures. Didn't take place in public. This was not a conversation for Sunday school. This was not a conversation for Bible study either. This was late night when everybody was home, indoors. Everybody was down for the night, because these are the kinds of activities, assignments that you do within. So you have the correlation with the time of night pointing to going within, under the cover of darkness, behind your skin, and doing the work from there. So again, this is Super T Sigma of Sigma Programming. I thank you for your time and attention. You already know reaching is teaching. Vibrate high, people. Peace.